On June 9, 1897, David Skadron was born. David was born in Odessa, Russia. David's parents' names were Solomon and Rebecca. David was the youngest out of 5 siblings: Sam, Morris, Leica, Julius, Mike, and David. In 1902, David and his family moved to the United States to Bowbells, North Dakota.
Because David's brother said there are opportunities to make a good living there.
They came to North Dakota to flee the pogroms and to take over 80 acres of land for free homesteading. This is David's paper saying that he lives in North Dakota. When they moved to Bowbells, they decided to buy some land so they could start their new life in North Dakota. In 1907, the Skadron family decided to buy about 35 cows, about 10 horses, 2 saddles. They also bought some wagons and household goods. They bought all of this from the Greeners, who were trying to sell out their livestock. The whole purchase cost $1,600, which was considered a lot of money at that time. They decided to move 22 miles and build a house. The first step of construction was to build a house that was substantial and reasonable in price. So they decided to make brick from scratch. Before they could start building, they had to make a temporary shelter for them, the calf, and the poultry to all live in. They dug up a large hole in the ground about 20 feet in diameter and poured water in the hole. They had a team of horses tramp around and around the hole, which gave them 20% more hay and straw. All of this in the right mixture of clay, water, and hay mixed together into a thick putty shape. Then the mixture was ready for the form and pressed tightly together. After they made several thousands of these, they were ready to start building a house. Next, they went to the woods to pick out the kind of timber that they needed. They would chop it down, take it home, and get ready for the building. They started to build and build. The whole house had 4 rooms. They also built a real barn for the horse and the cattle. While all of this was happening, Sam, the oldest brother, got married to Bessie. David left the farm and went to college at the University of Chicago. It was a big deal for an immigrant in the early 1900s. At school, David studied engineering. Kate Goldberg visited Chicago one weekend with her cousins, and David fell in love with her beauty. He dropped out of school to be close with her and became a butcher. This is David at his grocery and butcher shop. David got married to Kate when he was 23 years old. David and Kate had 3 children. My great-aunt Sylvia, who's the oldest. My great-aunt Ruth, who is the middle child. And my papa, the youngest one, who passed away last year. This is David and Kate and his 2 daughters, Syl and Ruth. I asked my great-aunt Syl to share some of her greatest memories about her father.
So when we got there, I was 13, my sister was 10, and my little brother was 8. We had no indoor bathroom, so we had an outdoor bathroom, and we didn't have a place to take a shower or a bathtub. So my mom ordered from Montgomery Ward a rubber bathtub that we put in the kitchen, and behind our wooden stove was a reservoir where hot water was. So we took the hot water from the reservoir, put it in the bathtub, and that's where we had our baths, in the rubber bathtub. David was a very hard worker. We were the only Jewish people in town. There were 500 people, and David worked hard and became a volunteer fireman. businessman, and everyone loved him there, Jewish or not Jewish. When it was a Jewish holiday, he put a sign in the window of the store and said, "Closed for the Jewish holidays." There was another grocery store and butcher shop across the street, and most of the people came to him because he was friendly and outgoing and good-looking, and I loved him dearly. And when we lived in Bowbells, I used to go after school to help him in the butcher shop and grocery store, and he put a little butcher hat on me, I remember. And then lunchtime, if it wasn't a school day, I used to go there, and he used to take me across the street to the restaurant and say to the people there, "This is my beautiful daughter, Sylvia." After 3 years, he took his hired man. They were on their way to a farm to look at cattle, and there were weeds growing up in a ditch as they were driving, and they made a quick turn and went right into the ditch, and David died of a broken neck.
Maybe David would have survived, but he was way out in the country, so no one could help him.
After that, I just had a fairly normal life. I missed my dad terribly because he was a wonderful dad. And by that time, I was 16 years old. And I remember he went to St. Paul to bring me a Sweet 16 birthday present, which was a Bulova wristwatch that I loved and I still have. It's 65 years old. And then my mom, Kate, took the 3 kids and we moved back to St. Paul. Sold the business and packed up and got a ride with somebody. We had no place to live, so we moved in with an aunt and uncle of mine, Auntie Fanny and Uncle Jake, until Grandma could get a job and find an apartment. And she got a job in downtown Minneapolis selling clothes, ladies' clothes. He was extremely handsome, like my brother, and kind and wonderful and friendly. And I still miss him to this day. I miss my brother so much. But my brother married Nancy. And I love her too very much. And all the kids, they call me. And Judy comes over all the time with the 2 little girls, my 2 little girls, Abby and Sadie. And I love all my kids so much. I can't tell you how much I love them. I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. Oh, God.
The tree.
Off those clouds and cheer up.
You got it.
Put on a happy face.
Take off that gloomy mask.
David Skadron will always be missed.